All right, my friends. So I just posted a video on, or at least a podcast, I should say, on Bill Bengis' 4% rule. And I'm going to share with you the other two while I'm sitting here waiting on my daughter at Georgia Tech. Seems like I do this all the time. The benefit about being self-employed is you get to run down to Midtown Atlanta to get your daughter. The negative about being self-employed is you get to run down to Midtown Atlanta to get your daughter. So here I am. Anyway, so as I'm waiting, we talked about Bill Bengis' 4% rule, and the premise, of course, was in 1994, and previous to that, everyone's saying, hey, the market gives us 10% rates of return, and thus you should be able to take 10% or less each and every year without tapping into principal. And Bengis said, that doesn't make sense because the markets go like this. They aren't linear, they go like this. And so that is a seminal financial planning piece of knowledge you need to understand from 1994. Follow that up with Ty Bernanke in 2005 in the Journal for Financial Planning. He had written the article called Reality Retirement Spending, a wonderful article which says, Bill Bengis said, markets don't give us linear return. Ty Bernanke said, retirees don't spend a linear amount, and i.e. that means they're not spending an amount adjusted for inflation each and every year. So Bengis' scenario is you take 4% the first year and you adjust it with inflation each and every year. And Bernanke said, that's great. I don't have any problem with that. But the idea is when you look at BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics, the Consumer Expenditure Survey, and I think the Health Retirement Study or something like that, I can't remember, HRS, retirees actually don't spend a linear amount either. In fact, what happens is retirees go like this, and it goes down. All right, so you got this almost like a bell curve, if you will, that says how much do retirees spend. Actually, I reached out to Bernanke back, I dropped my phone, back, I'd say 10 years or so ago. I had to congratulate him for his article because the article meant a lot to me. And B, I said, man, I'd like to chat with you about it. And he was somewhat, I don't want to say guarded is a better way to look at it. He was guarded. It was interesting, and I think I knew why. I have a feeling he was not ready for the blowback in the financial planning industry, how they push back on his claim that people spend less, because we've been told since day one that retirees aren't saving enough, retirees need to save more, and their spending goes up in each and every year with inflation, and then you got to factor in health care. And I know Jonathan Clements from the Wall Street Journal took him to the woodshed, no other way around that, and it was a bad article, frankly, because Clements had no data to back up his disbelief of Bernanke's stuff, and Clements has always been kind of a rabble-rouser against the financial planning industry. And I think he used this case as a way to kind of prove that the financial planning industry was basically had their head in the sand, and it was actually the exact opposite. In fact, fast forward 15 years now, and Bernanke has been proven correct, and Clements is who's against the financial planning industry and had written the article why your advisor needs to get rid of his 1% fee is now, or at least it was as of last year, on the board of creative planning, who charges a 1% fee. So, money talks and BS walks, if you know what I'm saying. And there you go with Clements. So I have a feeling it wasn't just Clements who was belittling, but giving pushback to my man Ty. And I can guarantee it's just some dude. I mean, it's just some dude in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, says, in my observation, I am noticing that a lot of people aren't spending like we've been told. I'm noticing it goes like this, actually. So I want to research this a little bit more, because my observation says everything we've been told up to this point where people need to save more is proven actually not true. In fact, if that's not true, a lot of people could have enjoyed their retirement more. They could have quit their crappy old job earlier and stuff like that, and yet that's not happening, and because people are getting, basically frightened from retiring. And so he did his own evidence studies on BLS and CES and whatnot, and he came to the conclusion that people actually spend less. Clements is saying that people spend less as they age because they run out of money. Well, but even if that was true, and it's not necessarily, I mean, it could be, surely there's outliers, but even if that were true, why weren't people saying that before? I mean, that's the thing that always ticked me off. All right, Clements, that's true, but you never said that before. You never said people run out of money and that way their expenditures go down. You only said that after Bernanke wrote his report. And then you challenged it after the fact, but you didn't get in front of that and say, hey, people, your expenditures go down according to BLS. You never said that. And who else ever, other people who jumped on the bandwagon who said, oh, he was crazy. I mean, they never said that until Bernanke's stuff is what pointed out his own, his evidence, that he saw in his, very anecdotal as it is. But he saw the evidence, and then he did the research, and he said that evidence flows very well with BLS. So maybe we're missing the boat here. And then along comes Clements and the other band of financial media types saying, and again, I don't know what Bernanke went through. I just remember the way he was so guarded towards me. I said, yeah, I bet he took it on the chin from some of these clowns. And then I just, anyway, but he's the one who came up with that. He's the one who brought it to light. And since then, he's been proven correct, and Clements has been proven wrong. And Clements, because, you know, I mean, again, you got to make money in this business. In this day and age, he joined creative planning after advocating against paying a financial advisor. All right, so that's number 2. All right, number 3 is going to be there's a study, I can't remember what they calls it, but using your entire net worth as part of your financial / retirement plan, not just using your liquid net worth. So Bill Bengis says take a 4% rule. Bernanke says your spending goes down as you retire. Oh, that's great. But what happens if we take assets from the biggest source of accounts that we have, which is not your 401k, it's your home? What if we can start pulling equity from there? Because a lot of people have more equity in their home than they do in their portfolio. And if you look at how your 401k stands up, I just did a YouTube video on that the other day, you'll notice that a lot of people don't have that much. They don't in their 401k, but the equity in their home is quite elaborate relative to the average portfolio value that they have. And I don't know what the averages is as we sit here today, but these guys did a study in 2015, I think it's Barry Sachs, where they look at, I want to say it's a 1/30 rule or something like that. I just can't remember off the top of my head. I'm going to read it, though, because it's freaking awesome. He says, at the end of the day, instead of the 4% rule, we can do, I'm throwing a number out like 5.7, if we look at the net worth as opposed to just the liquid net worth. And if the point of our being, i.e. in going into retirement, is to make sure we don't run out of money, why are we not looking at one of the biggest sources of assets there are, if not the biggest sources for the vast majority of people, which is their home? He says it's silly just to look at liquid net worth. Man, I completely agree with that. Yes, that means reverse mortgages. Oh no, reverse mortgages. Well, that's the idea there. And that's where I started. I'm telling you, when the reverse mortgage started coming down, I said, no way, man, no way. That just the amount of vitriol towards reverse mortgages I saw is like, there's got to be something here, because all these people that angry about reverse mortgages, no one gets that angry about stuff unless they're ignorant. I hate to say it, but ignorance brings fear. And ignorance on things like, just go to any debate about vaccines. I'm just telling you, just watch. If you're agnostic as I am, you'll find one side is brutal towards the other. And I said, why are you so angry? What is it? And the only thing is angry is because of fear, because a lot of times they can't back up their claims. Same with climate change stuff. Just go to one side versus the other. Same with the gun control people. And the people say we should ban guns. They say, oh, you want kids being killed in the street. I mean, it's not. That's not a debate. That's not reasoned approach. That's emotions. And when emotions lead when emotions guide just the way your policy decisions about it as a political or even just your own personal things, that's not good. We want to eliminate emotions and be more reasonable. And when I saw Dave Ramsey and these other people just hammering on reverse mortgages as their scams, it reminded me a lot like the global warming / climate change / vaccines / gun control debates. I said, there's more to this than what these guys are saying, because if they were that confident in their approach, it'd be more reasoned debate as opposed to calling people scam artists or shysters or anti-Holocaust deniers like they're calling the climate change skeptics. I mean, we all know there's climate change, for heaven's sake. No one says the climate doesn't change. The question is, why does it change, and what can we do to avoid it from changing? And so, again, no one says vaccines are bad. I'm just saying I'd like to see the evidence that all these vaccines were given to young children are okay. That doesn't mean they're anti-vaccine. Or Jenny McCarthy just says, look, I just want to see the evidence. No one says guns don't kill people. I know guns kill people, but I want to see the evidence that gun control works. Where is the evidence? And there isn't any. So, and I'll never sit there and say, oh, anyway. All right, so that's the 3 articles. We're going to talk about the Ben Bernanke next, which is the reality retirement spending. You can go to firecalc.com, and I'll do another video on that, because it's been a while since I did a video on that. We can look at firecalc.com, and you'll see they actually have a calculator where if you look at Ben Bernanke's reality retirement spending, it'll show you what it looks like when your income needs actually drop, like Bernanke says, as opposed to going up. It's very, very interesting. Kotlikoff, my man Larry Kotlikoff, where I interviewed, he did just another thing on consumption smoothing. smoothing, and I've already talked about his book. That's really a book more than an article on consumption smoothing. But if you take Kotlikoff stuff and you look at what Bernanke shows, not Ben Bernanke from the Feds, Ty Bernanke. So if I ended up calling Bernanke, it's Bernanke. Anyway, when you take those two things, you start realizing, maybe retirement is within reach. Maybe I don't have to work until I'm 95,000 years old. Maybe I can call it quits beforehand, because Kotlikoff will say consumption smoothing means if you can start, you're spending more today than you probably will in retirement. And I use myself as an example. I mean, look what I'm doing right now. How much does this cost for these braces? Second pair of braces for her. Chloe's got her braces on. Liam's going to get his braces. Right now it looks like Kevin might not, but most likely he will. 4 sets of braces. When I'm retirement, I'm not going to have to pay for 4 sets of braces. Maybe for my grandkids, but who knows? But as we say here today, those costs go away. Well, I need dentures? Maybe. But dentures and braces, I think, a little bit different, especially when you go in here when they got fixed jaws and all that stuff. So, because with her whole jaw needed to be adjusted, not just making teeth look better. So anyway, Kotlikoff will talk about consumption smoothing, and basically, hey, look, you're going to consume a lot more when you're younger with children and your home mortgages and all this stuff than you will when you're in retirement. So if we can smooth that consumption level out, you can retire early. You don't have to fall to fear mongers in the investment world and say, oh, you need 8,000 million to retire, blah, blah, blah. And you might be able to retire early, or you might be able to quit that crappy old job and go to something that you more enjoy, whatever it is. And then you look at that phrase with Bernanke's, or thrown in with Bernanke's reality retirement spending, it begins to make sense. It really, really does. It opens up a different perspective that you might have been ignorant about up to this point. And then you throw lastly with the Sachs brothers, I think of their brothers, you're looking at your overall net worth and how you can tap into the net worth to provide an income stream as opposed to just your liquid net worth. It just gives you a lot of, just a lot of hope. No other way around that. Hope's a good thing. Hope and change. Hope's a good thing. So I'm going to read those to you. So stay tuned. I think you like what you see. And I'd love to hear your comments on this for sure as we go into you being your own financial advisor and maybe helping those out there that need financial advice but don't want to pay 1% of assets, because that's a fool's game, my friend. It's a fool's game. All right. Don't forget to subscribe down below, comments, thumbs up, the whole thing, and we'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.